Okay, so I had something very interesting happen to me. What happened to you, Dave? I got a comment on my video that I did recently, not the Joker one. No, 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 no. No one should comment on that video. No one should watch the movie. But I got a comment on my Concord video, the other one, and it was just too good to not say anything about. And so rather than leave a comment to the comment like I normally do, this was something that I felt was appropriate to talk about in loud form of content, because after reading it, I had just had a lot to say, so I didn't think it would do justice. But don't worry. Everybody eats. Everybody eats. I don't know what that means, but I'm pretty sure it might be relevant to somebody. So this was a comment on my like I said, my Concord video, and it is from Lala Bing 9733. And this is and don't worry folks, this is gonna get pretty interesting. But they say this is what this person had to say. And then apparently they edited the comment, so they might have taken out something. I don't know, maybe. Maybe they said something spicier. Oh. But they said, devs don't really have the power to change the game.
Why? I knew it! What did you say?
Now, in context towards my Concord video, I go into basically how one of the first things I mentioned early on in the video was that I do not feel sorry for the developers of the Concord game. And I truly believe that they are just as much at fault for how bad the game is as the marketing team, as well as how bad the game is, as well as the marketing team, the planning team, Sony in general, letting these people do whatever, as well as just ridiculous woke culture, a whole bunch of other bullshit. But the developers are also responsible for how bad this game turned out, and so I feel no sympathy for them if anything bad was to happen. Let's say like, I don't know, the entirety of the studio that worked on Concord getting fired, which is probably about to happen.
Damn, what you insinuating?
Yeah, I feel nothing for that. So again, let me reread. Devs don't really have the power to change the game. Now, I let that sink in while I earlier was explaining what this was in reference to, but still, it's hard to read that sentence and, not go, I gotta make a video about this. Because I don't think you know what words means, because the developers do have the power to change the game. In fact, if anyone did have the power to change the game, I would assume it would be the goddamn developers of said game. In what world do you believe? Why would you believe that the developers don't have the power to change the game? What do you think a developer does? There's so many questions. One sentence brings up so many questions as to just the overall thought process that would go to a person that would think that and then put it in a sentence and then go, Daniel don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, if he's as smart as he is funny, I'm sold.
Just unbelievably fucking crazy. And so it goes on to read, yeah, they could stand up to management, but they just lose their employment and livelihood. This is true, but at the same time, when you got integrity, you can go find a job somewhere else. I really truly don't think that, the video game industry runs on the fucking 1950s movie market of you'll never work in this town again type of mindset.
I've had it up to here with the likes of you people! Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a circus midget.
Hell, you could do shit from home if you wanted to. So I don't really understand the concept of being like they would lose their livelihood. But again, if you know the game is going to be shit, or if it's you're just supposed to do your job and then, you know, you want to pick up a check, you can do that. You might not be happy with the quality of work that you're producing or with what it is that's coming out, but you're just doing it to, you know, fill a need because you need money like everyone else needs money. That's all well and good. But I'm not gonna feel sorry for the McDonald's worker that basically doesn't cook the patties all the way through because their manager told them don't do that. It wastes time. And then when people get sick and they shut down the McDonald's, I go, oh, well, they were just doing what they were told. It's like, well, you had the integrity to fucking leave and go somewhere else to where, hey, when you see a ship burning, you tend to either you jump overboard. You don't just sit there and watch it sink along with the captain and being like, nah, this'll work out because, you know, they told me to stand here. That's fucking crazy. And so, yeah, you might put your livelihood in jeopardy and whatnot, but right now they're about to lose their jobs because they made a bad game. So in what scenario is that, like, which one has the better performing scenario realistically? And it's like, all right, you stay with a failing company that's eventually going to require you to go look for new employment somewhere else, or you leave said company before it gets bad. You have the fact that you at least worked with them on some point within this company on your resume, and then people don't have a negative asterisk next to it to where you can find another job. But think of all the developers, or think of all the people, the testers, and different fucking things that have happened within was it Firewalk Studio? That essentially, the people who make Concord, I believe that's what it's called, I can't remember. But think of all the people who essentially won't hire them because of the fact that Concord is attached to the name. Fuck, dude, I forget about this. On Twitter, wasn't it like a bunch of the developers who removed the tagline that they helped develop or they worked on Concord off of their fucking Twitter bio because of that actual factoid? Because no one would want to be attached to anyone that was responsible for that shit show of a game. So you do not understand how realistically the metrics of everything going on far outpace what it is that you could possibly imagine in terms of how the job market would work within the particular concept of video games, when realistically you're actually seeing the downfall of a bunch of game developers and designers and whatnot because of how bad Concord is, considering what it is that they allowed to happen because they didn't say speak up or say anything, or essentially they agreed with the bullshit that Concord made.
I was like, there he go. He done fucked it up for everybody.
And then considering something else I'm gonna bring up, which is what those developers did, which is that a majority of them agreed with the outrageous and ridiculous aspects of Concord, showcase that is like, yeah, this is all totally their fault, and they had complete and utter fucking control over that shit show that got released. So I don't know why you think I would be wrong when you basically have proof from the world that I am right.
Something wrong with these hoes.
But hey, there's only two type of people that exist in this world: those that agree with me and those who are wrong. That's it. That's stupid. I was trying to do a thing from Cozy Giga and I fucked it up, but I'm having fun. We're having fun here. I'm having fun.
About to be my meat. About to be my meat.
Okay, so we go on. Damn, I didn't even read that much. Video game industry is already oversaturated. That's a crazy way to start a sentence. You should have been the.
I just speak gooder than you.
The video game industry is already oversaturated, and you aren't going to quit a job just because you know the game is going to be bad. You continue working on it and get that bag.
No, nigga. No. 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 Nigga. No.
No, you do not. Literally, the scenario that I just explained kind of showcases exactly why that would be a bad thing. I wouldn't want anyone working for me in my fast food restaurant if you were someone responsible for tarnishing the meat at a previous restaurant, you know, because that lets me know that you have no fucking moral standards towards anything. So let alone how my fucking company is going to do, or, you know, just what it is that you want to do. And it's like, you're willing to do whatever it takes to get that money. Cool. But that doesn't give you integrity. And why would I trust your integrity when it comes to making something? I don't want a yes man to just happily come along and tell me everything I want to hear when making something. If something is wrong or bad and you're in a position to fix that, say something. That is your job. You are a developer. The gaming market just really hates the color rainbow color coalition and trans bullshit in their games. Don't put it in there. They tend to attack that shit heavily. So don't put that in there. Nah, man, that's what we want to focus on. We don't even have the fucking selection screen done correctly. What are you doing? I want to showcase a bunch of trans people, damn it. I'm bowing out. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to quit because I can see that this is gonna do bad. I don't want to be responsible for what's gonna happen. I can't be a part of what's gonna happen. I got integrity. Got integrity. And it's like to sit there and go, you know, it's totally and perfectly okay to just, you know, get rid of all that you stand for just to make a few bucks. And it's like, again, when that bites you in the ass afterwards, case in point, the people who essentially had that they worked on Concord in their Twitter bio that then have removed it after responding to a bunch of people criticizing Concord for being the shit show that it is, and them stating, you guys just don't understand the game, it's better than you think. And it turns out that it's not, and then now it's gone, and now they're about to be fired. So exactly what point are you making that it's okay to just it's okay to do that? Like, no, this industry doesn't work that way. It hasn't worked that way. There have been plenty of people that have failed upwards, but in the long run, when you look at exactly what's been happening towards the developers who have tried to defend this game and the people that have worked on this game over the actual essentially objective logic and reasoning behind actual gamers who would want to spend their money on this game in the first place. Why would you allow Concord to turn out the way that it would, knowing what has been plaguing the video game industry and how gamers have been responding to it? It doesn't make any fucking sense. The bag wouldn't be worth the negative shit show that would follow just because they're paying you some type of wage.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Now, to the people who essentially got paid, shut the fuck up, and moved on to their other job, those are the smart ones. What I'm criticizing, or what I'm talking about, is essentially the developers themselves getting a fucking get out of jail free pass simply because of the fact that they're developers. That doesn't mean anything. They helped make the game what it is. They also should take the blame. Now, if they just want to forget it, you know, set it and forget it and move on to the next job, that's all well and good. And to the people who are willing to hire them, hey, there's still a bunch of woke, dumb games out there. Dustborn is one of them. I'm pretty sure those people are going to get other jobs. That doesn't matter. But again, they still need to take some type of responsibility, or people should understand that there should be some type of responsibility on their end for them doing what they did. And that factoid is the fact that now those people are scared to talk about the fact that they worked on Concord, and they don't mention it in their bios anymore, and they're continuously attacking people who are stating that the game was so goddamn bad, Sony has removed it entirely. And it's a $400 million flop that took 8 years to make. All of that is relevant. And all of that justifies why just trying to get the bag probably ain't worth it.
That was beautiful.
So, telling regular people that they should quit their job and make a YouTube career off of exposing a company you guaranteed signed an NDA for is so unbelievably out of touch and shows you've never worked a proper job. Motherfucker, I'm working a 9 to 5 now. I do this YouTube shit for fun. Just so I've done security for Best Buy. I've been a regular red shirt at Target. Nigga, I have worked, okay? I'm in a warehouse job right now, and this is like my second warehouse job. I've been a fucking Amazon driver. I've been a fucking meat delivery driver. I have worked. Again, I do this shit for fun, and that's not even the main thing I want to do. I'm a writer. And again, I keep leaving the fucking carpet book down in my goddamn description box because that's something I help write with a couple of my friends. Why I want people to look at it? Because it's actually pretty fucking good. But and again, that's another thing we did for fun. So don't let this wonderful demeanor fool you. By all means, nigga, these hands are rough. I just happen to be an otaku. That's all. And yes, I know what otaku means, and I mean it in the generalized concept that Americans use otaku, not in how the Japanese just basically use that and refer to a nerd. I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
He speaks fluent Japanese.
Are you Fujiyama?
Never forget, I don't like the Netflix One Piece. I'm real like that. I don't like Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Z is the greatest anime of all time. I'll say that till I'm blue in the face in my dying breath. All right? So, trust me. I know where I come from. I know what I is, and I'm not out of touch.
What does katana mean?
It means Japanese sword.
There would be absolutely, because let me break this down to you, because apparently, Lala Bing, you don't understand something of basically how YouTube works within their algorithm. There is a guy out there right now named Grums who is making a fucking killing by appearing on every goddamn YouTuber that you can imagine that essentially talks about or goes towards the rhetoric of criticizing, diminishing, and demeaning what is happening to video games. All right, he keeps popping up everywhere. A lot of people call him a grifter. I always say check out Upper Echelon for shit. He got a good video on him, and it's like, that Upper Echelon is awesome. But he is someone that is essentially, he used to be in the video game industry. He's criticizing the current video game industry, and he's making money off of it right now. What does that tell you about the overall metric of the video game industry or the platform of talking about the video game industry? There's money in that, dumbass. So, if not only is there money, there's attention being drawn. So let's say these developers are working with a low-end company, but at the same time, they got their own YouTube channel, but they're still helping develop a game. How wonderful will it be for promotion if you find out someone who worked on Concord that essentially had the integrity to bow out after Concord was over with, and he saw that the ship was burning, he bowed out, and then he went out publicly after the game was announced and all this bullshit happened, that, hey, I did work on Concord, saw the bullshit that was happening, and I got out of there. This is why. These are my reasons why. This is me explaining that. Do you think people would have not wanted to flock to his goddamn channel? That you wouldn't see fucking Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic and all of them, the fucking Eric July and all of them not make videos talking and criticizing that person's viewpoint, being like, hey, this guy was smart to get out of there. Concord's a $400 million flop. All of that attention, all of that free publicity, all of those eyes put on you, and then essentially you also come on the side of the side of your mouth. I'm also working on this game right here, and this game actually turns out to be good. You don't think that there would have been no positive reinforcement behind that, let alone if they just would have just focused on YouTube in general, that they wouldn't be someone that people would go to for attention or understanding that, hey, you've had people reach out to you that have been other companies and other gaming studios have want your intake because you see shit shows coming a mile away. Ooh, don't pretend like the metric isn't there. You just want to ignore it because of the fact that it's a harsh fact and a harsh reality. There is money to be made off of this, off of that bullshit. Because it's bullshit. There's money to be made off of that, as well as something you can do with that. Now, for the NDA aspect, sure, an NDA, for argument's sake, let's say an NDA was signed. We don't know, but for argument's sake, for your behalf, let's say an NDA was signed. When the game's out, when it's the talk of the town and everyone's speaking on it, what exactly would the NDA be obstructing when the game is finally released? What exactly would they face a punishment from a failing game if they've done basically quit it and they no longer working on it or anything like that? Even if we was to go by the scenario that I suggested in my video, wink, wink, that essentially they would just lightly mention, hey, I worked on a game for Sony, it sucked, this is why. You know, and it was to basically like maneuver around what the NDA was and saying certain buzzwords and things like that that essentially chased them away from the project. Those things are still things that they could get away with. But again, it would be in a sense of just trying to build that community and understanding that would help them in the long run. Look at how many fucking videos people have made on Concord. Look at how well those videos have done. The video that you commented on is, again, one of my top fucking videos, and all it is me talking about how stupid Concord is as a concept and and the overall after effect of what happened. To believe that for one fucking reason, like for whatever fucking reason, except for one, but for whatever reason, that would not generate or garner a positive response towards anyone that would be willing to speak out against a company or to use the fact that they've worked for that company to help or promote themselves, which is what they should do, self-promotion, is retarded, considering the fact that you've seen the opposite effect happen with developers for Concord, as the developers for it have then outspokenly attacked people who have talked about the game in a negative aspect. They have said the fans don't understand stuff. They have called people stupid for not liking the characters. They have said that they worked really hard and people should just play the game how it is and not ask so many fucking questions. That has been the response of developers. The opposite effect of what the developers could have done would be what I'm suggesting. Which one do you think would have actually had a positive response? To where if someone was to put in their bio, I'm a former developer of Concord, I didn't like it. Would you then not want to know what you don't want to know what that person thought, how they think, what's up with them? Why would they be willing to say that? That seems far more genuine than a developer going, I worked on Concord. You fucking nerds don't get it. Which is the general response that has come from the developers of Concord, which lets me further know the type of people that worked on this game and why the game was the way that it was.
Angry young man.
Like you gotta put this shit together. The context of everything that happened fucking matter. And again, just Jesus Christ. This is so unbelievably disingenuous. I can't stand it. That's why I said I had a lot to say. But again, you're attacking me and I need to defend myself.
Are you telling me that I don't know dick?
So let's keep going. The mic volume kind of fucked me over. Even if they haven't signed an NDA, even if they hadn't signed an NDA, leaving your company and exposing them on YouTube pretty much just guarantees that you will never get hired in that field again. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And again, you would be exposing a negative company. Well, not a negative company. You would be exposing a company that has done bad. And it's not as if we don't have competitors that essentially would latch on or jump on to any positive rhetoric that they could possibly gain. I mean, you see fucking ridiculous backwater deals within the gaming industry done all the time. And just to get some type of positive press and response, you don't believe that they would sit there and try to milk the fact that, hey, we hired the Concord developer that wasn't a jackass.
Circus midget.
You don't think that that would happen? Or that essentially an indie company would want to hire them? Or that with the millions of indie products that are started off, that they would actually be deterred by someone who essentially would be focusing more on the quality of the game that they're making rather than the content itself, just so they can meet a fucking quota or to push a goddamn message? Do you not think that there are actually people out there that would basically see through the bullshit? Because at the end of the day, yes, it is a business, true, but again, I am just stating something on what someone can do to gain money in an alternative way outside of just basically putting all their chips on Concord being this smash hit of a game that they're definitely going to make money off of. Because again, we don't know about the multitude of developers who were fired, because we know for a fact that that did happen over the course of the development of Concord. Multiple people who spoke out or people who did not like what was going on were actively fired. That is something that they've mentioned. That is something that people have talked about. And it was like, hey, if you didn't say you like these characters, or if you didn't like this design, you were promptly fired.
He's a real flat tire. I mean a cube, man. He's putting us on the train to Squaresville, Mona.
They got rid of the people who talked about Concord, who basically tried to give their 2 cents towards what was good, what was bad, and whatnot. And so it is safe to say that those people found employment somewhere else, or those people essentially moved on with their lives. Now, whether or not that's a negative or a positive, that I don't fucking know. Those people aren't outspoken. They focused on their job rather than focus on essentially doing something else. I just gave an example. I wasn't saying that that's the only fucking thing that you could possibly do. I just gave an example of what someone could have done. Most likely, I probably would have done it because, again, there would have been money in that. And as you so promptly said about getting the bag, that's all that apparently matters. So, I completely understand that you don't get it. That you painted a picture of what you think I know, and then you have completely misunderstood the gaming culture in general, or just video games in general. I probably wouldn't be I wouldn't be that surprised if you had told me that you pre-ordered Concord, played it, and then returned it.
Yeah.
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 But I didn't do that because I knew it was going to be a shit show a mile away. But hey, again, 2 different perspectives. But now I'm just picking on you. But before I go, let me say another comment that is that replied to your comment from a one Alex Stone 691. Alex Stone said, the same devs insulted gamers that they don't have taste. And I agree. It's again, just looking at your comment is just completely disingenuous. You clearly don't understand the gaming market, even with my limited knowledge. And I'll admit that I have a limited knowledge on what goes on within the gaming market, or the development field and whatnot. But still, just overall, the understanding of what a game developer is, the power that they have, the minutia of what went down in Concord, the constant statements that have been brought up by multiple people essentially leaking and talking to other people on YouTube. How many of them do you believe that essentially spoke on Concord or what's been going on with Concord got paid to do so at the behest of just, hey, don't mention my name? Do you honestly believe that something that was so fucking monumental as the biggest gaming flop of all time didn't have any type of repercussions of people getting paid on the back end of it failing, despite the fact that they either just shut up and went with the course, or that they understood that, man, I can make some goddamn money off of this if I play my cards right? Now, you might not have people that are willing to jeopardize their overall employment later on by outwardly making a YouTube video, but again, that was just a suggestion. But don't sit here and tell me that these people who actively tried to defend the bullshit that was Concord had no responsibility in what was going on, nor should they not be criticized for the bullshit that happened. And at the same time, I don't have a right, or I'm completely what is it you said? Let me look back. Give me the job to get bag. You shouldn't really get that bag. They're telling me she quit the job. YouTube, you're supposed to get out of touch. That's the word. You told me I was out of touch. Is that I would be out of touch for saying that, despite the fact that they signed an NDA. Again, these people who signed an NDA are over there telling other YouTubers and different streamers and shit like that, hey, you want to know what really happened with Concord? Hell, That's how people found out about the 400 million, was through talks and exposés. And now, what is it? Firewall Studio might be just getting fucking axed the same way Valorant did. Not Valorant, that's a game. Volition, is that the people who made Saints Row? That company that got fucking destroyed. And then how BioWare basically is about to do the same thing with their Dragon Age bullshit. Whew. I'm gonna get my own video talking about that. That's gonna come up later. But yeah, I'm not the one out of touch. You're the one that's delusional. And you gotta stop. You just gotta stop. Come on, man. The bullshit is there. You know it's there. You know I know what I'm talking about. What are you doing? But other than that, funny comment. I just really wanted to react. And as you can tell, I couldn't type all that I just said. I went on a fucking 30-minute rant.